right, good morning out there. Today is Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. I'm Anthony, and this is Drive Dive. So, I hope you enjoyed your April Fool's Day, or I should say maybe survived it. I hope no one played any terrible pranks on you or told some convincing stories and really led you on. My son, unfortunately, did have an experience. I was trying to explain to him what April Fool's Day was yesterday. So people kind of like tell jokes. And he goes, "Oh, I got a joke for you." He goes, "What do you call a pig that knows karate?" And he said karate. You ready for it? Pork chop. So anyway, I said, nah, that's not really like the kind of jokes and things. I said, people will kind of like tell you stories, or they'll tell you things that like and get you to believe them. And I said it would be like if you told your friends that you went to the mall today or the day before or whatever, went to the mall and you ran into, like, of all people, like Mr. Beast, and he was like there filming and filming this, filming that, blah blah blah, and you actually got a chance to say hi and tell him about your YouTube channel, and he was like, "Oh, that's awesome, I'm gonna help you promote it, this and that," and you're like, "Bro, that's so cool, thank you so much." And the last thing he said to me was, "April Fools," something silly like that. So I didn't catch on, but he'd been telling me for maybe a day or two prior. All right, he watches a couple of YouTube videos and streamers. One that he follows is this guy, Typical Gamer, does Fortnite videos, lots of gameplay, and he created his own game mode, Super Red versus Blue, which is fun. But Typical Gamer had been talking about how on April Fool's Day there was going to be some sort of Fortnite event, something that Fortnite had done briefly in the first year or two, but hadn't done it since, and there was going to be some sort of mini game and all of this other stuff. And my son was honestly like, "I can't wait to get home on April 1st and play. So disappointed that I'm going to have soccer and I won't have all that much time to play Fortnite," blah blah blah. Like, he was so looking forward to whatever Typical Gamer was describing. He was able to play last night because soccer got canceled on account of the rain, and I'm guessing soggy fields, even though it was probably nice enough temperature wise. But I was talking with him about it this morning. He said, "Yeah, there wasn't an update." I said, "Oh man," I said, I'm pretty sure that was Typical Gamer's April Fool's joke. And it's interesting. He really, I guess, respects Typical Gamer, trusts Typical Gamer, where then like he almost like wasn't convinced, even though I'm telling him as his dad, like, "Nah, I'm pretty sure, dude. I'm pretty sure there's an April Fool's joke." He goes, "No, well, there was still some sort of like update, and so maybe this, maybe that." And he's trying to really rectify it in his mind and come up with exactly what happened or what could have happened, that maybe Typical Gamer was wrong. There was supposed to be this update, there was supposed to be some sort of event, but that Epic Games dropped the ball or something. It was just so interesting to me where he didn't want to, one, he fell for an April Fool's joke, which is fine. He's 8. I totally did too. Like I said, I wasn't really following along. I didn't anticipate that it'd be an April Fool's joke, but it is what it is, man. But aside from that, just the fact that my son is watching this guy's videos and really believes and hangs on to what he says about the Fortnite game, and this turns out not real update on April Fool's. And children really are influential in that way, and we have to be careful, I guess is my message, right? In education and in raising our own children, and how we behave around just other people's children, right? I mean, they're always watching and hanging on to what we say, and we have to be careful with all of that. So that's, I don't know, something I would say to Typical Gamer. Not that, yes, it was a completely harmless April Fool's joke. I'm not saying anything against that. I'm just reminding him that there are some young folks who do watch his content and will hang on to what he says, and probably repeat a lot of what he says and pick up on his messaging, subtle or otherwise, intended or otherwise. And so it's just a word of caution, I guess, when we're interacting with children and putting this content out there that children might be watching. So, but then I guess I wanted to share too, maybe a bit more positively than I have the past couple of days, where like I'm not tired today, and I'm kind of wondering why. Where I slept less last night than I did probably Sunday into Monday into Tuesday, and I was exhausted Monday morning, Tuesday morning. Yesterday I was all like, I'm all out of sunflower seeds. Today I'm like, I'm good, man. And I'm wondering, to go back to some of the older stuff I'd been talking about and reading James Clear's Atomic Habits and the identity work that he talks about, and how our actions throughout the day sort of describes it as like casting votes for our identity. Did our identity receive votes or did it not receive votes? If it did, it's feeling pretty good. If it didn't, it's not feeling so good. And so I'm wondering if, because I worked out last night for the first time since actually like March 1st, right? So a whole month, 31 days in between, I was feeling away, man, and reminding myself like, probably like you didn't work out. And a lot of times in my mind, I'm like, well, when you don't work out, at least you're still sticking to your diet, right? Count my macros. I eat the same thing every day. Comment down below, like if you want to know. I've mentioned it in other videos, but I can put it in writing if anybody comments and is really interested in what I eat each day. That with subtle variations has contributed to 2.5 journey 50-pound weight loss results. So what was I saying? Right, but so normally I tell myself like, no, it's cool. You skipped a workout, but you stuck to your diet. So my identity as a healthy or fit individual, a lean individual, was being served by my sticking to my diet. However, after a month, it just wasn't enough, and I think it's possible, right? In hindsight, it's possible that I get really edgy when I don't work out. And even though it wasn't maybe the best workout, like I didn't, it was legs, right? I didn't go crazy on squats and stuff, but I got a workout in, and my quads were feeling pretty good. Not quite rubbery and whatnot, but not being as in shape maybe as they had been or used to, training with resistance. There's a little bit of cramping and stuff like that going on, but I'm saying, right, serving that identity, I feel better and more energized now today, recording this video, despite getting less sleep last night and even being woken up, having that shortened amount of sleep interrupted by my daughter yelling for me from her room at about 4 a.m. So I was out of bed for about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so, and then was able to get back to bed and fall back to sleep. But yeah, so it's so interesting to me how powerful identity is, and the actions throughout the day, when they contribute to that identity, and when they don't, how we feel, how that affects our mood, how we feel about being right, how happy we feel, how productive we feel. And so not only, right, am I feeling productive in the moment that I checked something off of the list in general, but then too, because it better serves my identity, right? And I think for me, I identify as quite a few different things, right? As this athletic and fit person, as a father, as a husband, as a teacher, a TCG player, a YouTuber, I don't know, right? Home owner and not builder, but maintainer, right? And then just like all kinds of different things. But I would say, if it's a pie chart, a big chunk of that chart, man, is being fit, being healthy. And so again, not just productive, but directly serving that a large portion of my identity, I feel pretty darn good. So if you haven't engaged in that type of identity work, like who am I? What kind of person am I? Or what kind of person do I want to be? I encourage you to do that. And then you can start to evaluate your habits and your routines and whether or not you are serving that identity as well as you could. And then you take those incremental steps. James Clear talks about this 1% rule, and just getting a tiny bit better every day, a tiny bit better at serving that now established identity. And I promise you, you'll feel a heck of a lot better about yourself, about the people around you, about your day. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, right? Like, subscribe, comment down below. Any thoughts, questions? Be happy to interact and engage. And otherwise, happy Wednesday. Sunny for me. I hope it's sunny where you are. Yeah, man, get after it. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Take care.